Welcome, welcome in that voice from heaven. Welcome in that connection and communication with Christ within our own mind. Welcome in that answer, your response to that invitation, walking with Him. And that is really the necessity that we always felt like. We were feeling that since the beginning of time, that something is missing in our correspondence with the divinity within ourselves. And this something else became a someone else. And that someone else had to be seen beyond the body identification and the body appearance and all those things as we were reducing, limiting our correspondence within the world or in the human experience. You know, we all know and are talking about friendships and partnerships and love experiences and use expressions and descriptions of perception of what bodies do or not do and how bodies reflect each other. And so it becomes a description of behavior instead of a description of what lies beyond behavior and is really what light expression is and what determines our mind. So this is really what I would like to share with you today. And if you hear here a phone ringing in the back, don't worry about that. There is an answer machine to anything, and that answer machine is actually when we speak to God and we are in prayer and we are actually expressing any idea of need for help and support. And of course, that is guaranteed. Of course, there's in the entire universe, in truth, anybody antagonistic to us. Everything, everyone is really, we will have that in a moment in those lessons. I do not perceive my own best interest and I do not know what anything is for, where Jesus will express that everything is for your own best interest. Well, then, what is not for your own interest, it is you yourself with your opinions, with your necessity to be right or your justification of being right in any way. That will always be wrong. That will always need correction. That will never serve your own best interest because it is an application of the past. And as you see, we are already smack in the middle of the mind training of those first lessons, first 50 lessons, first maybe 35 lessons, or maybe just the first 13 lessons, which I might review with you today and maybe just choose a different direction and just starting where we are right now in the mind training. You might listen to any time of your mind training to this session, and so it is not just focused on a lesson 12 or 13 that a meaningless world engenders fear and that you're upset because it's a meaningless world. But of course, we have to go and come to an experience that will show us what lies really beyond the meaninglessness. And then we arrive at the clarity that vision shows us that God is in everything we see because God is in our mind. And that clarity will be confirmed in our own experience, that experience of being that, of which we were formerly giving just a limited meaning and were holding that limited meaning literally against ourselves, feeling the guilt of that limitation, of the meaning that we have given everything. Well, I think that would be a nice thing to do and share today in that session. And of course, we will bring and weave that all in, that it is all inclusive into that decision and action of mind of walking with Him to certainty, which is the title of that new series. And that walking with Him why wouldn't it be that an activity of application of lessons of the day give us a different experience about ourselves and about our guy next to us, about all the things as we placed it and projected it in our mind and we call it, this is the world I see. And that new perspective is literally the recognition of the meaninglessness, the nothingness as we have made it. And that meaninglessness, as we have made up our mind, that is now, in that sense, challenged in any situation. If we are true to it and live up to it, if we are true to what we learned, if we can remember what we learned, if we can stay active in that practice, or if we simply say, well, that was a nice lesson, and now I'm gonna move on and will just in that sense be myself as I always was myself, and will just continue being myself, and then nothing is really happening. Yeah. So we are asked here in this Course in Miracles, in this voice that speaks to us and offers us the solution, we are asked to apply it in a way, in a new way of recognizing that that new way is really our understanding that we are more than the meaning that we have given to everything, and how we call it and how we categorize it and how we judge everything and everyone. And we are going beyond that whole construct as we have been educated and we have educated our children and so on and so forth. It was passed on from generation to generation, isn't it? And we are going beyond that because we are going home. We are going to the meaning that comes from God's mind and represents God's mind, and no more any limitation of the human conceptual mind, the ego mind. So if that is attractive to you, then please stay a moment with me and join me here and celebrate with me on Spreaker.com in that Voice from Heaven, the continuation of this idea as I presented it here in the beginning, and we'll just give a moment of respite. We're gonna breathe through it and remember that we are actually here to remember that we are surrounded by angels, and that angel is actually to let the light of our mind join with every mind, and give allowance to the sharing. So welcome, welcome. Thank you.